November 4th, 2024. I still have honeybees. Last year, during my mating, I reached a total of 264 colonies with all the colonies I had, including the mating nukes that were queenless. And at December 1st of last year, I had a total of 150. I made 150 new queens last summer, but I lost a few in the fall. So some of the colonies I had going into winter had older queens, but I had really, my plan was to sell some colonies, but I didn't make enough phone calls. And I took all my large colonies and I killed the old queens, the oldest queens, and I divvied up the frames of honey, trying to make sure that the 150 colonies I was going to try to get through winter had enough honey. If you've seen my videos, you see how I struggled to get through winter. It wasn't so much that they ran out of honey, it was the fact that the chemicals in my environment, and Robert Kennedy Jr. has stated the chemicals are in our food. It's causing my bees not to live very long through winter, so I can't get small colonies through winter because they die sooner than they should. If you go on Google or look up how long does a honeybee live through winter, you can find 5 months, you can find 6 months, but I can only get 3 to 4 months out of my honeybees. So if my colonies are small going into winter and they lose 90% of their bees, they're not large enough to get restarted. So I'm no longer going to do small colonies. And this year, I pretty much left them alone. And around June, 77 was queenless, and they made a new queen. But they didn't get large enough. So what I did is I swapped them out with an older colony and rotated them so they'd pick up some more bees. And they currently have enough bees to get through winter. And I've been feeding them, and I hit them pretty hard with acylic acid with my ProVap 110. And I made sure they're all heavy. And these two here, they were heavy, so I stopped feeding them syrup. But I went ahead, had some syrup left over, and I decided, well, I'll give them some syrup and see if they want to take any more. They're not taking any syrup, so they're full. So my goal is to see if I can get 4 out of 5 through winter, and I'll split them next spring. I've had honeybees since 2011, and like I said, it's 2024 now, so 13 years. Actually, not 2011, I'm sorry. 2013, so 11 years I've had honeybees. And twice during those 11 years, I've been down to about a half dozen or so. So this is not a new experience for me, but the issue is having all of these hive bodies with these frames that are all filled with used cells. And these here, I covered them in plastic, but I covered them too late. And apparently they had moths in them when I covered them, because when I opened them up in July or June or whatever it was, I had a lot of this stuff in here. Okay, that makes a mess, and I don't have a wax extractor, or I mean a wax melting method. I'm gonna look for an old refrigerator. I'm gonna put a heater in it, electric heater in it, that'll go to 145, 150 degrees Fahrenheit and melt these, but right now I don't have time to do it. I've been doing this. I'm currently in the building stage. I was building last year when I had 150 colonies or more last fall, and it was just too much to keep up with everything. So this year, because I didn't mess with the bees, I've had more time to focus on my construction. This is my second basement. This is what I'm going to have all sealed up. I'm going to go around and caulk everything. I'm going to have a door around it. I'm going to seal this up so the wax moths can't get in here. I'm going to store all of my hive bodies in here. So I got plastic on the walls. It's going to be basically airtight. And like I had, this right here is my cellar. On the other side of this wall is a cellar where I used to store my hive bodies in there, but I have too many. And I could store my hive bodies and not get wax moths, and I didn't have issues. I could pull them out in the spring. I didn't have anything in them. But this year I have too much stuff to store in my cellar. I'm currently waiting for it to get cold and for it to snow. Snow is easier to deal with during construction than water. I don't want water to get in my OSB. I built my house during the winter. Started at the end of December, right around Christmas. and I built that during the winter, and I had a roof on it before spring, so I didn't have to worry about water getting into the wood. But see how this right here is OSB? You get water in your OSB, it gets into the wood, and if it freezes, it damages it. So basically, this is going to be my loading area here. I'm going to back trucks in here, and I'll be storing hives and stuff in here. And I'm going to be, and my other option is if I get out of honeybees, this is going to be basically an apartment building or apartment. I'm going to have a bathroom and a kitchen, and then a living room / bedroom. So even if I get old and somebody else lives in my house, I can live here, and maybe they'd be kind enough to take care of me. This has worked out pretty good this summer. Having a roof over the side of my garage, all this stuff was exposed to the air and the sun. I didn't have wax moths in any of this stuff here. But that stuff there, I had wrapped in plastic at the end of spring. I did it too late. I got stuff in there, and that kind of messed up those frames. But it's really nice to have this stuff so that when I do expand, the bees don't have to build on any of the frames. I just didn't have enough locations for this. And I got into mushing a couple years ago when the first husky we had, I had to kill her, but here's 3 of them, and that's my puppy there. So I'm busy with dogs. I give them a walk every day except when it's raining. There's my 4th. So the walks are about a half hour. Sometimes I give them 2 walks a day, so I'm spending an hour. And basically, I'm spending 2 hours a day taking care of my dogs, and mushing is fun. I'm not able to find a sled around here, so I'm just now getting this 8-month-old trained so that I'll have 4 dogs, and I just need the sled, and during the summer I'm going to use an adult tricycle. So anyway, I've been busy with my other hobbies.